Hello, educators. Are you ready to ignite your students' curiosity about biodiversity and ecosystems? Let me introduce you to Eat or Not to Eat, one of our most interactive research quest investigations. In this investigation, I'm going to launch it here. Students step into the shoes, or rather the claws, of a hungry lizard. Their mission: decide which insects are safe to eat. They start with being the predator. This is a fast-paced game where each of their decisions impact the lizard's health, helping students to learn through instant feedback while sharpening their observation and decision-making skills. I'll just give you a little taste of this. Students have just a few moments to decide whether or not they want to eat a particular insect. They get instant feedback, so they can hopefully start to notice patterns that are affecting good decisions versus bad decisions in terms of prey selection. And your students will move through this first round trying to make good decisions and monitor their health meter so that they don't get so weak that their western fence lizard actually dies. And they've got to make their decisions quickly. They don't have a lot of time to debate whether or not it's a good meal or not. As they move through these rounds, they do receive, between rounds 1 and 2, they're introduced to one of the insects that may have been the source of some incorrectly eaten meals, and that is the velvet ant. So I just grabbed some screenshots for you after they've had a chance to reflect on their decision making and think about what was driving their choices. They have a chance to be introduced to the velvet ant. They receive some graphic panels that give them a little humor and some information about the velvet ant before they move on to the second round. And then between rounds 2 and 3, they learn about mimics. So in this particular case, they also get a graphic panel helping them think about what a mimic is, and then ultimately doing their third round and hopefully refining their decision making. Along the way, they're exploring the phenomenon and they're getting this strategic support as they go. And as they get to the end of their third round, they start to reflect on the features that were driving change or not. And after that first section, they go into the next piece, which is how to fool a predator. Christy Bills, an entomologist at the Natural History Museum of Utah, introduces it herself and her research at the museum. She takes students through a series of panels that have them thinking about velvet ants and their mimics and how we might begin to study what features are driving predator decision making. And so she tells them a lot about velvet ants and where they've been found all around the US, and ultimately lets them know that they need to study velvet ants from a few different regions in order to figure out what features across all velvet ants may be driving predator decisions. So in this particular case, you'll see that they will be gathering data from 8 different insects from our collections. And let's see if I get this tab right. After they've gone through and started collecting their data, they have visual guides that help them see their progress. I'll show you a little bit about what that looks like. We're going to investigate here for this video size. Students can also instead investigate the features of color, pattern, and shape. But with size, Christy takes them through a brief tutorial to help them understand how scientists measure these insects and gives them a little training module where they will practice their measurements. They've got all sorts of on-screen supports as they need them. And once they finish their training module, she gives them feedback and says, you're ready to go to start doing your work. I've already done it here. I can show you what that looked like. This is the interface. They have multiple views. And they can record their data as they go. So once they finish gathering their data, they will have, let's see if I've got this right, they will be presented with their data and have the ability to download it. They'll receive it in graphs and charts and have some on-screen prompts where they are to reflect on their data and answer some questions about what features maybe were driving predator decisions. In the final section, let me get to it. Oh, I'm on a screenshot. They'll predict the future. They'll take everything they learned about these velvet ants and mimicry and how that works together to explore one of two scenarios: biodiversity loss or range change, and to begin thinking about, if this is what present day populations of velvet ants look like, and the future is doesn't include velvet ants, what does that mean for the jumping spiders, which are their mimics? And so students have an opportunity to apply what they've learned in the previous section to think about the future. So with To Eat or Not to Eat, your students won't just learn about ecosystems, they'll experience science in action. And I hope you're ready to get started. Log into ResearchQuest, launch the investigation, and watch your students' critical thinking soar as they have a lot of fun doing it. Happy teaching!